Hot topic of the day, LeBron passes Michael Jordan. Greatest of all time? Hey, doesn't matter to us gamblers if you're not cashing tickets, Teddy.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line, is that, okay, he's been around a long time, and passing Jordan is a legitimate milestone. We'll give LeBron credit. We will not give his current team credit for their current form. The Lakers stunk last night. Again, nothing new, nothing different. We're talking about the worst point spread team in the NBA. Are they tied with Golden State at or near the bottom? But the bottom line is LeBron can get all the records he wants, and he deserves them. LeBron is as good or better than an NBA player I've ever seen. And I watched Jordan in his prime. And LeBron's been doing it for longer than Jordan did at a truly elite level. All that being said, Lakers stink. And there's money to be made betting against them right now. We saw it again last night.
No, I mean, just a porous effort right off the bat. We talked yesterday on that betting show about what you might be getting out of the Lakers at this time, and sort of like, the air is already out of the balloon. They got taken right from jump in the first quarter. Easy victory all the way through with a cover for the Nuggets. We'll see how the Nuggets can add up, still fighting for that number one overall seed in the Western Conference. The march to madness today, Teddy, as we continue to welcome in teams. Just think next week we're going to have multiple games on during the day, Monday through Friday. Should be a lot of fun. We welcome in the Metro Atlantic Conference, the MVC, and also the West Coast Conference here. If we take a look at some quick favorites there in the Metro Atlantic, Iona plus 230, Quinnipiac plus 260, Siena plus 265. In the Missouri Valley Conference, Loyola Chicago. Everybody remembers Loyola Chicago from last year. Also with Drake plus 350, Southern Illinois plus 400. And the WCC, should I say, the favorite in the conference is Gonzaga minus 1250. Good to have basketball all the way through now, Teddy.
It sure is. I'm telling you, next week is as fun for bettors and potentially as profitable for bettors as any week of the year. There'll be multiple games on every day while we record. Well, maybe not Monday. But the bottom line is this is super fun. Arch Madness, forget March Madness. Arch Madness with the Missouri Valley Conference. But It's worth noting, in the Metro Atlantic Conference, in the Missouri Valley, there's no automatic bids. The team that's going to win that is going to get the bid, and they're one-bid leagues. If Gonzaga loses, and they're minus 1250 to win the conference tournament. Mm-hmm. But if somebody gets hot, if San Fran or St. Mary's or San Diego or whoever knows knocks the Zags off, there's one team that's off the bubble not getting a bid because Gonzaga is getting a bid. That's what you want to pay attention to. In my mind, from a fan perspective, is watch the bubble teams get eliminated one by one as conferences where teams are locks. Those teams get eliminated and they get two bids instead of one. West Coast Conference certainly has that possibility.
Yep, some of these conferences yet to tee up their conference tournaments, most taking place Power 5 conferences next week, Teddy. But one team that a little bit shaky confidence-wide heading down the stretch, Marquette, Teddy. Last 3 games that they played have blown leads with under 5 minutes to go. Happened again last night. The marquee game about a week and a half ago versus Villanova at Villanova's place. You had that team dead to rights, up 5 with a couple minutes left, and you blow that game. Then Seton Hall closes out Marquette, Teddy, on an 18-0 run, not only to blow the cover, but also blow the win. Aneem's layup with 4:43 to go gave Marquette a 64-55 lead. Then Marquette would not score again. Not a great look heading down the stretch. You want to be playing your best basketball heading into the tournament or heading into your conference tournament. Not a good look for Marquette here last night, Teddy.
No, and the issue in my mind, it almost reminds me a little bit of Oklahoma last year, where they had one superstar player in Trae Young and a bunch of guys kind of standing around watching Trae Young play. Boy, Marcus Howard does a lot for Marquette. I mean, he does everything for that team, and he's been a legitimate superstar. It looks to me like he's wearing down a little bit, and his teammates, who are so used to counting on him, unable to step up down the stretch last night. When you lose the game on an 18-0 closeout, it stinks. If you had Marquette, that certainly wasn't fun. But then again, I had San Diego State last night. Their meltdown came in the final minute when they couldn't handle a press on senior day at home. So these type of things can and do happen. 18-0 run, never fun when you're on the wrong end of it, and it closes out the game.
No, Ted, it reminds me of what's going to take place. We're going to take a look in just a few moments at the Oakland Athletics, but social media, Twitter, just it's here. March Madness is here the same way baseball is coming up because we're just right around the corner, Teddy, from having the blown bullpen meltdown alerts that circulated on Twitter. But last night, you couldn't get away from the Marquette tumble. You couldn't get away from the San Diego State tumble. And sometimes when you don't have those tickets and you survive those, you just say, my goodness, thank God I missed that. But first look today, Oakland Athletics on our march to the countdown to opening day, which is just a few weeks away here. Oakland 97-65 last year, Teddy, in 2018, heading into the 2019 season, sitting at a 33-1 ticket to win the 2019 World Series. Team total lowered. Last year they won 97 games, now taken back to 83.5. A lot of that has to do with what they're going to get out of their frontline pitching staff. Bullpen looks decent to me, Teddy, and as always with the Oakland Athletics, some pretty good young talent there that just needs to step up this year.
Yeah, I mean, it stepped up last year, and certainly a lot of guys had what people might consider unsustainable seasons. Then again, they're not being lined as a 97-win team this year. They were enormously profitable for their backers last year. The number one team in all of baseball in terms of profitability, more than 36.5 units for the season. They made money at home. They made money on the road. They made money on the run line. They were a slight over team a year ago. And it's funny, we think about the A's, at least I think about the A's. I ran into this stat. I'm like, wow, really? Oakland's, they've been in the playoffs now 4 times the last 7 years. They've been in the playoffs 9 times in the last 19 years. The only franchises with more playoff appearances during that span, Yankees, Cardinals, Dodgers, Red Sox, Braves. That's not a bad 5 to be behind. You say Oakland's number is the 6th best franchise over the last, in this century in baseball in terms of making the playoffs. That's impressive. They've been here, and they've always, they tend to be consistently undervalued. Now, there's nobody on this pitching staff, Fierce, Blackburn, Bassett, Luzardo, Estrada, that's going to raise any attention in the betting markets. So you're not going to be laying $2 with the A's every time they're home favorites. I think they may well be profitable again this year. There's lots to like about that upside lineup, and if the rotation's any good, this small market franchise will continue to be one of the better ones in MLB.
Yeah, Teddy, being an avid baseball gambler there, obviously being on the East Coast there, you have the tickets out west. I find myself watching more Oakland A's games, or just about as many Oakland A's games than I do watching my Philadelphia Phillies on the East Coast. One of those teams, quirky ballparks that you see always getting the late, games out there. It's Seattle, whether it be the Seattle Mariners, the Angels matching up, always fun. But certainly, you're right about that. It's amazing when you think of what the A's have done on that limited payroll over that long-term success. We'll see if they can duplicate it this year.